If you want 2021 to be your year, don't sit on the couch and wait for it. Go out, make a change. Smile more. Be excited. Do new things. Throw away what you've been cluttering and follow negative people on social media. Hello. Go to bed early, wake up early, be fierce. Don't gossip. Show more gratitude. Do things that challenge you. Be brave. Whatever you decide to choose from all these things that we've talked about this morning, you go ahead and do that. I'm going to go away with be brave because it holds us back sometimes. So be brave today, Mikali, okay? To do those things that you've been putting at the back of your mind. And talking about keeping things at the back of your mind, yesterday we talked about how you need to take things out of your subconscious and just write them down. If you've been complaining about something for so long, just write it down. It helps you see different, and it's okay for you to take the blame first before you go ahead blaming everybody else plus the devil. Yeah? Take the blame fast. Having the very fast conversation with us is Dr. Walia. It's time for Advice Circle. Dr. Wale Akinyemi, welcome to the show.
At your service, ma'am.
Yesterday, you gave us a powerful, powerful, powerful to do list to think about those things that we've been complaining about a lot and to put them down on paper. And to sometimes, if things do not work out right, take the blame. If it didn't work out right before you blame anybody else, put it upon yourself, analyze the situation. Today, you've promised to talk to us about how to, categorize in order of priorities the things that we've put
You
down.
are such an amazing, my good. Yeah. Wow. Am I still there?
I missed you for a bit. What did you say? I thought that you said something really nice about me. Do you want to say that again?
Yes, I did say something nice about you. I said you're an amazing student. I wish all my students were like you.
You, Ale.
All right. So let's get this party started. Before we start, I saw something this morning. Forbes magazine came out with a new piece of information that the year 2020 broke. Now that's the COVID year, okay? The year 2020 broke the world record for new billionaires in history. Nearly 500 people appeared on the world list of billionaires for the first time ever in 2020. A billionaire was imagined every 17 hours. So we need to be careful the stories we are listening to. And this was all over the world. And, the way I always look at these is that stories we read about are stories of people who brought things out of their head and they did it. So we said yesterday, start by writing. Then another important thing when it comes to now this categorization, you see, there's what you call the circle of concern, and there's what you call the circle of influence. A lot of people don't know the difference. The circle of concern are things that, yes, they are very important to me, but I can't do anything about it. I can't do anything about the exchange rate of the dollar. Okay? Even if I'm concerned about it. Now, the circle of influence are things that I can influence. You see, for many years, I had this dream, like many young people, I want to change the world. Then I got to a point, I realized I could not change the world, but I can change my world. And so I decided, let me begin to change my world, one mind at a time. That is within my circle of influence. You see, when you hear people talking, again, a lot of arguments, a lot of discussions, unfortunately, fall within the circle of concern. Now, so when you have brought things out of your head, you now need to ask yourself, remember I said you need to be brutally honest with yourself. You now need to ask yourself, does this fall under my circle of concern, or does it fall under my circle of influence? If it falls under your circle of concern, then you are just retaining, it will keep bugging you, it will keep stressing you, and there's nothing you can do about it. All right? So if it falls under my circle of influence, then I approve it to go to the next stage. If it is in my circle of concern, that's adding to the clutter, I delete it. All right? This is very practical stuff. Now, when you have now divided things according to circle of concern and circle of influence, you now look at what I call the lowest level of implementation.
Dr. Wale, are you back?
Yes,
Yes. Just
yes, I'm here.
just go back. Just go back a little bit.
All right. I said, when you have got these things, when many people spend too much time in the circle of concern, hence the clutter. Now, when you have brought them out of your head and you've divided them, you now look at what I call the lowest level of implementation. You see, a lot of people get stranded because they want to start from the top. You have a new vision and you are looking for 500 million. What's your problem? You know, do you even know how to handle 5,000 shillings? You are looking for 500 million. You know, you want to start, you want to start some big project. Start.
Oh, Dr. Wale, I think you hang again there. You're back?
Yes, I am.
Start small. That is where you pick up from.
Start small.
Yes.
When I was going to start, I had lost everything and I was going to restart my life. I did not start by saying, I'm going to write a book. Please give me money to write a book. No, I was paying 60 shillings a week, going to a cyber cafe to write articles and send out to people. You see, that did not require a national fundraising campaign, you know? And this is where the problem is. You don't start small, so this thing continues to accumulate in your head. Start where you are, all right? Don't look, let me tell you, you don't start by looking for money. Start by doing something that can attract the money. I say that again. Don't start by looking for money. Even the Bible says, to him that has, more shall be given. You know? So start where you are. Do something. It is called show and tell. Once you've done something that can attract the money, then the money will come. So the lowest level of implementation. Another way is to look at that as, look, this thing is easy to implement. I can quickly get this out of the way. And that will give me inspiration for the next thing. Now, why it's also important to start with the lowest level of implementation, you need to cultivate a habit of finishing what you start. Unfinished projects tend to add to your clutter. So if, however, you have done your evaluation and you realize I need to abandon this project, let there be proper closure so you don't feel guilty about it later. Then one-time president of the United States, Dwight Eisenhower, he said, I have two kinds of problems, the urgent and the important. The urgent are not important. The important are never urgent. All right?
Okay.
And this became known as the Eisenhower matrix. and it was made popular by Stephen Covey. The location of any issue we are dealing with within the matrix will determine the urgency with which we approach it. So in the matrix, the first matrix are the things that are urgent and important. The next matrix are the things that are not urgent, but important all the same. The third matrix are the things that are urgent, but not important. And then the fourth matrix are the things that are not urgent and not important. Now, let me give you a simple way to remember these things. You see, for instance, when this is typical quadrant one living, maybe your power bill comes. Now, a lot of people, you know what happens when the power bill comes? You look at it, you look at the date, okay, fine, and then make a mental note of it, keep it, and go about your business. Then on the very last day, you suddenly remember, yay, my power bill. Now, at that point, you are under pressure because it is now urgent and important. But at a point when the bill came, it was important.
But not urgent.
And at that time, you were in control. If you don't do things when they are not urgent but important, you will be moved into the urgent and important matrix, and that is the pressure cooker. That is where you are always under pressure. Quadrant 2 living is where we want to be. It's because you are handling things when they are not urgent, but they are important. Now, quadrant 3 living is a very interesting quadrant, urgent, but not important. And many times when you look at people in quadrant 3, you find out that these are things, you know, they say it's subjective and it's emotionally driven. So I need to urgently go and do something, you know, and you realize that the guy just wanted to go and watch his football match. Meanwhile, you are leaving maybe a very crucial meeting that will add to your life because of your definition of what you call very important, yet it wasn't. And, you know, a lot of people love activity for the sake of activity. So they're just in quadrant 3. You know, you'll be amazed at what happens in quadrant 3. Now, quadrant 4 are very hilarious people. This is the quadrant of not urgent, not important. Such people are always available. They never have an agenda for their schedule. Their day starts with the first phone call they get. So if you call a quadrant 4 person and say, hey, dude, what's up? Let's have breakfast at 8 o'clock. Say, no problem now. Then I'll be there. Then at 10 minutes to 8, you call and say, hey, my man, we need to reschedule till 10 o'clock. Okay? Say, okay, no problem. I'll meet you there. Then at 5 minutes to 10, you call and say, oh, sorry, something came out. Can we move this till afternoon? Okay. You see, quadrant 4 people have no agenda. They take life as it comes, and that, my friend, is not a compliment. You know, because if you have no plan for your life, life will give you a plan, and that plan is going to keep you. Ultimately, you'll find yourself in the pressure cooker. So when you bring things out of your head, remember circle of concern, circle of influence, and then remember Eisenhower matrix and ask yourself, this activity that I have written down now, is it urgent? Is it important? Is it urgent and important? Is it not urgent? You know, so that way it helps you in at least making sense of the nonsense in your head.
Just before I let you go, the two circles, the influence and the concern, just reminded me of the serenity prayer. And, you know, maybe at that point, it's good for you to just think about that. Can I change anything about this? And if I cannot, please just give me the wisdom to do, you know, something that is actually, something that I can actually do, and to accept the things that I cannot change.
Absolutely. You'll be shocked at the number of Africans who were nearly having panic attacks over American elections that they could not vote in, they could not do anything about, yet they are having panic attacks. They are making enemies, attacking each other online, over something that you have no control over, you cannot do anything about. I think a lot of people, actually have too much time on their hands, honestly.
I have to agree. I have to agree. Wale, this is our last day of this week. So
Yeah.
maybe a teaser of what you're going to be talking about on Monday.
I'm going to now go into the deep waters of how to stay relevant. And that is going to be so deep that I think we may even spread it over 2 weeks or so. Because, and let me just say this, irrelevance is no respecter of intelligence. Irrelevance, I've gone off again, yeah?
In it, I'm soaked in it. Can you hear me?
Irrelevance is no respecter of intelligence you are. The intelligent become irrelevant. The fools become irrelevant. Irrelevance is no respecter of how much money you have. The rich become irrelevant. The poor become irrelevant. So we are going to talk about relevance, and it's going to cover even things like rebranding yourself, repackaging yourself, so it's going to be an exciting week.
Toby, and I think you're a master, having known you for, wow, maybe over 20 years. And still creating impact this many years later. I think you're the right person to have this conversation with, Wale.
Thank you. I'm honored.
Okay, so our social media handles as we let you go. And yeah, we'll see you next week.
Yes, follow me while on Twitter at Wale Akinyemi. When you do that, all your problems in life will be over. I'm really kidding. And then follow and subscribe to the Street University on Facebook, the Street University. In fact, you need to go on the Street University this morning and watch yesterday's class. You'll be blown out of your mind. Totally.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Wale.
Thank you very much indeed.
And on that note, we're going to be taking a very short commercial break. We will be right back. Don't go too far.